Recording in progress.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome. I'm going to call this meeting to order. And I'm going to ask if I happened to be away last meeting and I was all ears. I watched it on TV on my computer and I was sympathetic a little bit because of couldn't hear all the time. And so I want to just talk to everybody here today and ask very pleasantly, when you're speaking, please speak into the mic. Take an extra second and get right up close to the mic because sometimes our microphones have a hard time picking it up. And I was very disappointed 2 weeks ago that I couldn't hear some of it because it was riveting. So, welcome everyone. Just want to say that our deputy mayor is going to be a little late, but she is coming. So, I'm going to ask if there's a disclosure of pecuniary interest under the Municipal Act. If so, hearing none, then we'll move on to the minutes of the previous meeting. Moved by Councillor Dirksen, seconded by Councillor Gunson, that the minutes of the Town of Minto, March 4th, 2025 regular council meeting be approved. All in favor of that motion? That's carried. Got a motion moved by Councillor Potnevis, seconded by Councillor Elliott, that the Town of Minto Council convenes into committee of the whole. All in favor of that motion? That's carried. Thank you. We have no public meetings today, but we do have a delegation. So we have Mr. Luke Hartung and Aaron Raftis going to present on the 2024 Farmers Market Review. So welcome, Luke. Did you get the afternoon off work?
Make this quick.
No problem. Thank you.
I'm mic'd up. Okay. So yes, I'm here on behalf of the Minto Farmers Market along with Aaron. So once again, we're just gonna do a bit of a year in review and to keep everyone in the loop on things. Am I in charge of slides or Quinn is? Okay. All right. Thank you, Quinn. So some review on the vendors and volunteers and staffing. So our vendor numbers tend to grow each year, which is great with a mix of farmers and local artisans. Now these people aren't necessarily at each market, but we had six vendors that were there at every market and an additional 26 rotating vendors. So what makes it a pretty good selection of stuff to have there. We had Sadie Lynn Byman as our student this past year, and she did a great job at helping us with various activities and set up on each day of the market. We thank her. She did a great job. Moving on to the next page, just some social media notes, as it's very much a part of promotions of any sort of an event these days. We seem to have a growing number of followers on both our Instagram and Facebook groups. And we had a meeting last night for Outlook for 2025, and we're hoping to utilize some more promotional stuff on both those social media avenues as it reaches a lot of people and for pretty cost-effective ways of doing so. We launched a new website in 2024, which was done by Awesome, and just a nice new fresh look, pretty user-friendly, and also a lot more user-friendly on a person's smartphone. So, and then we have an online application form there as well, which is handy for anyone that wants to fill out an application online. Promotions, we try to do a good job of getting the word out about the market, not only in the community of Minto, but the neighboring communities. And we do this in various ways through ads in traditional news media like the Banner, Independent Plus, and the Wellington Advisor, some radio ads on the Listowel radio station, The Ranch. We did do a bit of increased signage. Promotions at the market include coffee and lemonade by donation. We have a weekly gift basket draw, which is quite popular. So each market goer gets to have a ballot. They put their name in for a draw, and they would qualify to win a basket, which includes some gifts or an item from each table from the following market. We had some new market tote bags, some musicians and events throughout the season, activities and giveaways throughout the season, vendor shout outs, which is like a spotlight in each vendor throughout the season, and collaborations with Taste Real and community groups. And other promotions, we started selling tote bags, which is a Minto Farmers Market branded bag, which we bought enough to have for future years as well. And actually, they are kind of a hit. So grab yours at the market this year. Fundraisers, we do our annual trivia night fundraiser. Last year, we raised just shy of $3,000. So we surpassed what we wanted for our own ventures. So we donated $1,130 to Palmerston's MRI campaign. And we're still having trivia nights for 2025 because they happen throughout the winter. So far we've raised $2,500 and we have one to go yet on the 28th. So that's going well too. Upcoming events, we have our Strawberry Social event, which is a annual event along with our Family Day and breakfast at the market. New for this year, every other week we're going to provide a hot breakfast to the market, which is going to be done by Mabel from May's Cafe. So that's pretty good to have that on board. Library Day, partnering with the Palmerston Public Library, and then a Fall Fun Day to cap the season off. Some initiatives. We had a market meal box to celebrate Food Day Canada. Sadie very much organized this, so she did a great job of trying to select items from each vendor at the market. And some further collaborations that we did help out with the Palmerston Fall Fair with the parade float, and we helped organize the corn on the cob eating contest, which is great fun, and some cheap entertainment for the fair. No laughs, eh? Okay, you better come out for the fair then. All right, free vendor spot for students in the youth startup program, and some free spots for not-for-profits as well. And we also did our annual donation to the museum. Moving on to the next one, we are involved with Taste Real Partnership, which is a collaboration headed by Wellington County to kind of, I guess it's the focus group for all of the farmers markets across the county. So there's a market buck promotion, which people can use that to turn into for produce or baked goods. And so for our market, we had $2,740 spent at our market this past season. And there's also a market trail promotion, which kind of promotes people to move around the county to try to check out each market within the county. And then the other two Taste Real initiatives was the Market Box, which is a box that a person can purchase, and it's done throughout the county at each individual farmer's market. There's up to 50 that can be bought. Minto almost sold out. We sold 47, so that's pretty darn good. All those proceeds go back to the vendors. And then there's a holiday box, which once again is done by Taste Real, and they select items from each market across the county. And it's a pretty good initiative to get some produce and baked goods across vendors from our market into the hands of people of Wellington County and beyond. And then basically wrapping up 2024 and looking out to 2025. As I stated, our last fundraiser is coming up at the Palmerston Legion Trivia Night on the 28th. We have our events set for this coming year, although we did change the Strawberry Social to June 21st to try and coincide it with when we're at the pavilion, because that is also the same day the Railway Festival is at the museum. I just want to also have a thank yous to the town and town council for allowing us to have the market rent free at the Palmerston Railway Heritage Museum. We very much appreciate that. It certainly helps us function. Erin has been a great resource. She put this entire thing together. I just showed up to recite it. Bob McEachran at the Heritage train station and all the staff there that help us out. And then the community members in Minto and beyond that patronize the market as well. And I can report on last year budget-wise, we were in the black again to the tune of $166, I think it was, Aaron. So, which is great. We're not trying to make money, but we don't want to go in the red either. So it's in good shape. We're ready for the next season. Any questions or
Luke, are you
comments?
entertaining questions?
Yeah. Yep.
Questions, anyone? Go ahead, Councillor Dirksen.
Thank you, Mayor Turton. I don't really have a question, but I just want to say thank you to you because you are the one that keeps this going. And I know you have people behind you and with you and so on, but you just do a great job of working with the market and just love your passion when you're talking about how great the market is. So thanks for that.
No problem. It's a team effort.
Yeah, same here, Luke. I'm not sure. It's a farmer's market, but there seems to me, it seems to me like there's a lot of extra things going on over there. All the, the entertainment, it's a beautiful venue. It's great to come to the market. It's all local. And, looking at what's going on in our world today, we need to do that more often, and that's buy local. So congratulations to you. For all the hard work you do. And that was a great presentation, Aaron. So
Yeah, thanks, Aaron.
If there's no other questions, thank you for coming, Luke, and again, congratulations and good luck this coming season.
Thanks a lot.
So we're now at question period. The mayor, as chair of the meeting, has a duty to preserve order and maintain decorum throughout the meeting. Although council strives to hear and be responsive to residents' concerns, in order to preserve order, maintain decorum, and comply with the town's procedural bylaw, I wish to caution any participants in question period that number one, questions that use discourteous language will not be permitted. Number two, questions that seek policies or bylaws outside the town's jurisdiction, including policies or bylaws that might violate human rights legislation, will not be permitted. Number three is anything that constitutes speeches or statements not in the form of a question will not be permitted. Number four, repeat questions will not be permitted, including the repetition of questions from prior meetings. And number five, all persons shall be limited to no further than 2 questions. So we have question period is open. Any questions today? Seeing none, then we'll move on to correspondence. I've got a motion moved by Councillor Zimmerman, seconded by Councillor Elliott, that the council receive the correspondence. As information, we have 3 items. On the correspondence today, first one talking about highways 11 and 17, and then the other 2 buying local and standing for Canada. And we all know what that's about. So if there's any discussion on these, or I'll call the question. All in favor of the correspondence? That's carried. Thank you very much. Committee minutes for approval. The Economic Development and Planning meeting minutes for March 13th. I'll ask Linda Wick-Graham to present.
Thank you, Mayor Turton. Yep, these minutes are pretty much fresh off the press. We just met last Thursday. So high level, Aaron reviewed all of our downtown minutes, which are all attached for you. Wes came and gave us an update so far in the building year. And as you can see, the agriculture sector is leading the way with many permits and high values. I guess there's some new changes coming to the ag building code, which is why people are trying to get in before that changes. Charlene wasn't able to be there, but she provided an update on the labor market. And one of the interesting things there is that job postings have dropped to about a quarter of what they were in the fall. So people are not hiring as much as they were in 2024. We also reviewed our Saugeen Connects 2024 year in review. For those of you that don't know, the Saugeen Summer Student Startup is a part of Saugeen Connects, as well as WOWSA, which is our Women in Business thing. We'll get into that in our year in review. But the committee reviewed that and had a recommendation to sign the Memorandum of Understanding to participate in the partnership again in 2025. We reviewed our terms of reference and updated those. Just some small tweaks were needed there. And then our committee did our roundtable updates. I won't go through those, but lots of good and bad updates, as you can see. Tariffs are the hot topic, not just in the world, but at the AgDev meeting. We're reaching out to a lot of our businesses to see how things are going and how they're handling it. So we have some ideas to assist there as much as we can. And that was basically what we talked about. If there's any questions?
Questions for Belinda? I can understand the double T, tariffs and Trump.
Yep.
It seems to be on everyone's mind. But it's important that we talk to our businesses, and so thank you for doing that, Belinda. Our businesses and making sure that they have what they need to stay open and staying functioning. So hearing, is that the only one you're talking about, Belinda? Free.
Just the minutes,
Th-
yeah.
there's- Okay, so there's a lot of information on that report. Great report, plus all the other reports, and I'm going to call the question. It's moved by Deputy Mayor Anderson, seconded by Councillor Elliott, that the council receives the Economic Development and Planning Committee meeting minutes of March 13th, 2025, as information and approve any recommendations contained therein. No further questions? I'm going to call the question. All in favor of the motion? That's carried. Thank you, and we'll ask Belinda to go ahead with the year in review for economic development.
Yeah, sure. So my team is here with me today. You all know Erin. She's our Marketing Community Development Coordinator. And for those of you that haven't met Raisa Abraham is our new Business Development Coordinator who started in January, taking over for Caitlin. So she's going to be reporting on the Launch It and Chamber activities. Even though she wasn't here, we wanted to give her some practice. Everyone has a copy of the document. So we're not going to dive deep into the details here. We're going to keep it very high level and try to get through this fairly quickly, as we know there's other things on the agenda. So just really quickly, our new community directory is out this year, but last year we produced over 6,000 copies and distributed that. And as you all know, our work is very much community-based economic development, and that involves a lot of community groups and organizations. So we are proud to be a part of 17 different community groups that we are supporting, or part of regional groups that are moving regional ECDEV activities forward. Erin and I are going to take turns going over stuff. So Erin, if you just want to jump up.
Next up, we'll just talk a bit about our events. So last year we organized, executed 90 events on behalf of like 9 different committees. So you can see the variety we have there, but it's everything from exploring your futures, community events, and business networking. So lots of fun stuff last year and lots of fun stuff this year too.
It's not showing on the
It's
board,
not there.
but Raisa,
Yeah.
in my office, there's a box by
It's
my
not,
filing
it's not on
cabinet.
the
You wanna grab
website
some?
agenda. I see it's on the, it's on this
So
one.
they can
on-
follow
on
along.
E-scribe, but I never saw it.
We have more hard copies, so Raisa will get those so everyone here can see.
Well, I chose PDF. Yes, maybe that's.
Okay, we'll keep moving
Okay,
forward
okay.
as Raisa runs and grab those. We hosted 9 newcomers receptions. So when new people move to our community, we think it's important to welcome them and showcase the different volunteer opportunities and the businesses in our community. So everyone that attends receives welcome bags and the introduction to those services. Also want to highlight our Move to Minto, a business attraction campaign, which is a multi-award winning campaign. We're really proud that we won an EDAC award for the brand, as well as receiving honorable mention at EDAC or EDCO for rural excellence, and then winning in the business retention expansion category. And next week or the week after, we will hear how we made out at the Ontario BIA Association conference with this as well. So a lot of fun things were a part of that project, and we're just really proud of the work that came out of that, including tour of the town. And as you can see all there, all the great stats that came out of that program. Workforce, as you know, is a big piece of what we do as well. So we worked with our partners in the Career Education Council and the Workforce Planning Board and our friends in Mapleton and Wellington North to host a Northern Wellington Works event at Norwell, which was really successful. We had over 630 students and 36 exhibitors. We're actually hosting this again next week. We partnered again with those folks to do an Explore Your Futures event, which we held in Arthur for grades 8 students. Again, over 630 students with 27 exhibitors. We're really proud of our partnership with the family health team and the hospital looking after healthcare recruitment. And a new initiative this year, we worked with Set 7 to deliver ESL training, so English as a second language training here in our community so that it was easily accessible. And we're proud to do our corporate call program where we visited some of our major employers last year, getting tours and hearing what some of their key concerns and issues were. On to the next page, we had our Pitch It competition, was very successful. We relaunched it, had over 10 finalists this year and over $20,000 in cash and prizes. Industrial land, we sold 3.6 acres and have another 3.83 that were pending. Commercial permits, we had 11, and industrial permits were 3. And as you all know, we were heavily involved in our own economic and community development strategies. I'll turn over to Raisa now to go over the Launch It activity.
Okay. So Launch It Minto, Launch It continues to be a driving force in supporting local entrepreneurs, providing mentorship, resources, and collaborative spaces to help businesses succeed. Here are some key highlights. So business support and mentorship, we had 24 customized business consulting sessions, 23 businesses received tailored assistance, and 721 individuals have used Launch It Space since 2014. Workshops, we had topics including business expansion strategies, branding, social media marketing, and financial management. We had notable events, Spring Clean Your Brand, Roadmap to Retail Success, and Show Me the Money, attended by a diverse group of business owners and professionals. We also had the Homegrown event last year, featured 12 expert speakers in finance, HR, marketing, and branding for small businesses, women-led businesses in the rural area. And we have had over 100 attendees engaged in networking and breakout sessions and mentoring. New initiatives, we had Ignite podcast launched in 2024, featuring expert insights on business success. We also had the Try It Retail program created as an incubator to support small businesses in the testing of retail concepts. And exciting news, Launch It relocation to the old post building that happened in February, and tomorrow, March 19th, is the grand opening of the space. And on to the chamber. So Minto Chamber of Commerce remains committed to advocacy, networking, and business support. In 2024, we had 15 grand openings, bringing a total of 99 since 2014. 169 businesses and organizations are active members of the chamber, and we had events and programs such as the Mayor's Breakfast, Think Minto First gift card program, and business spotlights. What's happening in Minto show to promote local businesses. We had the business excellence recognition and community events. The Think Minto First program impacts thus far, we are totaling $174,500 with that program since inception. And we were able to raise $2,194 for local charities in 2024. And for 2025, we are looking at strengthening partnerships through the regional chamber groups. Thank you.
Next up, just kind of reporting on what our downtown groups have been up to. So you can see we have been working on beautification events are kind of our main goals, along with business promotion and fundraising. So we had downtown planters that were bought, and our events we hosted at our summer carnivals. We donated all our vendor fees to the MRI campaign, so that was $720 for 2024 from the downtowns. New this year, we launched our holiday promotional campaign called Minto's Magical Holiday Town. So that was kind of initiative to connect all of our wonderful holiday events that we had going on, and make it a little more cohesive and brand it. And included, we printed passports that got distributed outside of Minto and across Wellington County. And it featured exclusive deals from 24 different businesses. So if you had the passport, you got special deals, which was exciting. And we also did stories of the season, which showcased a few of our downtown businesses with professional photography, which helped them because they could share it, and also was great to promote on our pages as well, as why you should come to Minto for the holidays. And this also included our Bright Lights and Festive Nights walking trail, which I'll talk a bit on the Palmerston page. Moving on to Harrison, it was a busy year. They hosted lots of events, including like the chili cook-off, the egg scramble, which is coming up in April on the 19th this year, if you know any kids who want to do crafts and that sort of thing. As well as our signature events, the Harrison Street Party, Halloween Haunt, and Candy Cane and Cocktails were all super successful this year. Lots of people attended. They'll be happening again this year as well. And just working on general promotion and beautification efforts as well. You may have noticed beside Homestyle Bites in Harrison and the Town Hall Theater, we just redecorated that alleyway. So there's pretty new lights installed there and tables, and there's more to come down there to kind of beautify that as well. So stay tuned. For Palmerston, we hosted our annual Railway Festival again, which keeps growing every year, and it's again on June 21st this year. We hosted some smaller events like Tiny Trains Chug Through Time this year instead of Through Town. We're moving on to bigger things with time. And so we had 22 kids participate in that, and that got them kind of introduced to the businesses, also activities and history through town. We did Light Up the Park, which was bigger than ever, and the Palmerston Foodland generously donated to our barbecue so that we raised, I think it was over $800 for all aboard Palmerston to keep up doing fun and exciting events like this, the Chris Kringle Market and Fire and Ice. And then, as I mentioned before, our big project was our Bright Lights and Festive Nights Trail, which we were recipients of the Community Activator funding on behalf of My Main Street and the Canadian Urban Institute and the Government of Canada. So we were able to add 6 new lights to the Palmerston Lions Park Trail, including a big Palmerston sign, and a huge shout out to the Palmerston Lions. They were incredible in making this happen. So yeah, huge kudos to them. Moving on to Clifford. We did a couple new things this year in Clifford, like sponsoring some March break roller skating, which was popular. We did our carnival celebration and our Christmas event as well, which brought lots of people into the downtown to shop and just kind of utilize the celebration square. And new this year, we hosted our Creatures of Clifford Halloween decorating contest, which was very popular. And we had Councillor Zimmerman and several other councillors help judge the houses. So it was a lot of fun this year too. And yes, continued on. We supported the DEI committee to add artwork done by a high school student to the community pantry. And we installed a new washroom structure to have some downtown washrooms in the square too.
At the Palmerston Railway Museum that we support, we had almost 1,700 visitors this summer. We collected over 16,000 in donations to restore the caboose and over 11,000 in funding through the Rural Economic Development Program to help with that as well. We have 3 amazing students that helped us do a lot of work, including hosting 2 new events and just continuing to draw more and more people to this space.
I won't go over at the farmers market again because Luke did a wonderful job, but yeah, shout out to Luke. He's amazing. And as the chair of our committee, making sure everything happens, as well as our market student and all the vendors, it's an amazing time. So check us out every Saturday this summer. Moving on to the culture roundtable, we were busy this year, so we updated our cultural plan, as you know. We also partnered with various organizations to enhance the summer and holiday events, like sponsoring money and music at the farmers market. New this year, we partnered with Hanover and Wellington North to host the Saugeen Culture Bus, which sold out really quickly, and it was an incredible experience across the region to just explore culture in our different communities. So we'll be doing one again this year too. And we are working more on partnerships there, hosting a culture symposium in Hanover, and this year it's in Minto, and doing more joint efforts there too. For Culture Days, we promoted 13 events. So we either hosted them ourselves or we promoted what other people were doing in that week, hosting free events for the public. And then also this year, or last year, sorry, we hosted the Spark, so supporting performing arts in rural and remote communities in Minto. So that was a really great weekend way to immerse in the arts and culture.
Our Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion Committee was formed in 2023, and it is created to host events and projects to ensure that we live up to our commitment to be a welcoming and inclusive rural community. We hosted guest speakers on a variety of topics, including accessibilities, smart cities, food accessibility, homelessness, and Minto safe communities. We participated in DEI training, and we also updated our terms of reference. Some of our regional partnerships, Saugeen Connects, that's part of the ECDEV minutes that you saw before, so I won't say too much on that, but we did complete a project where we received a grant for over $61,000 related to a regional advisory workforce collaboration that wrapped up last year. Wowza was a part of it. 8 networking events were held with over 200 attendees. And my personal favorite is the Student Startup Program, where we had 50 youth run 46 businesses, and 14 of those were Minto businesses. So that was pretty exciting. We continue to partner with our Northern Wellington ECDEV partnership, Mapleton and Wellington North. As you are aware, I was the president of EDCO in 2024, so had the privilege of presenting across the province. You will see the list there, as well as having the opportunity to travel to Colorado to meet with some key stakeholders there. We do a lot of volunteer projects, and Erin's going to speak a little bit about that.
Yeah, so we definitely couldn't do any of the things we do without the incredible volunteers in our community. So we couldn't thank them enough for making all of our community so bright and a great place to live. New this year, last year, sorry, we introduced our community calendar collaboration, which brought together 20 different volunteer organizations. And every month you should see a calendar in the community that has events from each different community group. So kind of as a one-stop shop to learn what's going on in the community. And so, yeah, Tammy at the front desk runs those now. So you can get on the email list if you're interested or find them on our community boards. And also we supported the volunteer project coordinator led by the Minto Arts Council last year. And Lynn Jameson did a lot of great projects on diversity, equity, and inclusion, and basically just helping learn what our community groups need to stay vibrant and keep their volunteers' retentions and what else they need. So that was a great project as well. And yes, on our last page here, just you can get a bit of the stats about our social media, but we're growing and growing every year. So 696 in our brand awareness on Instagram and Facebook are our big ones, but we also have LinkedIn. And as you can see, we manage 15 social media accounts for our various downtown groups, our railway museum, that sort of thing.
So just to wrap up, that's our small but mighty team. Caitlin now replaced with Raisa. As Erin said, a lot of the work that we do is not able to happen with not just our volunteers, but without our fellow staff members. Public Works, Recreation, every department across the town of Minto supports the work that we do, as well as council. As I always say, we couldn't do this without council's support, and last year was especially of that nature where we all had to band together. So I just want to say thank you to everyone who was involved in making 2024 a successful year for our department. If there's any questions. Thank you.
Questions, comments? Go ahead, Councillor Elliott.
Linda, I better get close to the mic here. Your group do really well. You pick out different parts of our community, and yet you can bring them together. It's quite a task to do that, to say that we have events in Palmerston, and we have events in Harrison, events in Clifford. Everybody seems to realize that that's a town of Minto thing, and you do that very well.
Thank
and
you.
As far as your group, it's just amazing. I belong to Ontario Small Municipalities, and you've presented there before, and we're the envy. I'm telling you, we're the envy of many communities, including Innisfil, larger communities, Barrie. They just can't believe how well we do at economic development. You and your staff are phenomenal, and the volunteers that you get to work with them. And I thank you for doing that. It puts our Minto on the map. It means an awful lot to our community, and thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ron. Other comments? Yeah, I mean, I have to echo what Ron said. I mean, you guys, the big team of three, you do it, you're out there, putting on these projects, rain or snow, wind, cold, always with a big smile. And it's pretty amazing to watch your work. And I mean, when you look at this document, it says it all. It's really amazing.
And shout out to Erin for her artistic talents putting that all together.
Erin, you're very fortunate. I'm sure that's what you went to school for. You must have been a good student because you do good work. You've had 2 compliments today. So, Risa, you see what you're up against over the next year, working with the team. So, and I mean, on behalf of council and staff and citizens of the town of Minto and areas, I hear it all the time about things that are happening in Minto that don't necessarily happen in other communities. And they just don't happen. I mean, they don't happen on their own. It takes people like you guys to do that. And again, we really appreciate it. And I've been at a couple of EDCO conventions, Belinda, and I've heard here continue all the time how all the good things you did for that board as president and now past president. And I mean, to do all that stuff, have your job here, raise a family, and still keep a big smile on your face and be happy. It's amazing. You do a great job, and thank you for all the stuff that you do. And you said it. I mean, our public works and all of our other staff do a lot to assist you guys. And I mean, that's what it's about. It's a big team, and we really appreciate it. So thank you. And I mean, you mentioned our volunteers. They're fairly important as well, like right at the top of the list. So thank you for that. Moved by Councillor Potnovitz, seconded by Councillor Zimmerman, that the council receives report ECTF 2025-002 regarding the 2024 year in review prepared by the Director of Economic and Community Development for information purposes. All in favor of the motion? Thank you very much. That's passed. So the next item is ECDEV 2025-003, the extension request for BTJ Investments.
Yes, I'll keep this very brief.
No problem.
This is part of an agreement of purchase and sale. As you all know, our development covenants require people to have a building permit within a year of closing and then to complete construction within a year of that. Within the APS, we have built in that they can request a 6-month extension in writing and pay 10% performance deposit. So this development is a little behind schedule for various reasons. And of course, with the economy now, we may see another extension request coming. But for now, this is part of the APS. We do have a check for the deposit. So just looking for the recommendation to approve a 6-month extension that started or would start January 24th because that was the date that it should have started, and would end on July 24th, 2020.
So we have a recommendation moved by Deputy Mayor Anderson, seconded by Councillor Dirksen, that the Council of Town of Minto hereby receives report ECDEV 2025-003, an extension request for BTJ Investments Limited, prepared by the Director of Economic Community Development for information purposes. And further, that the Council of Town of Minto approves a 6-month extension starting January 24th, 2025 and ending July 24th, 2025. Questions for Belinda? We've done this before. It's an extension and it's fairly common. So if there's no questions, I'll call a question. All in favor of that motion? It's carried. Thank you very much. And I'm going to pass the chair to Councillor Gunson.
Thank you, Mayor Mayor Turton. I apologize, Mayor Turton. So 4 reports today, Public Works, and the first one is the annual and summary drinking water report, and Mike is here to present that.
Thank you, Councillor Gunson. I'll keep this short and sweet with all the other year in review reports. This is for the annual and summary reports for the water system. On February 27th of this year, the annual report was posted to the town's website for the public's viewing if they so chose to view it or come in and request to see it. We completed all of our drinking water systems MECP inspections were successful this past year. Additional sodium sampling was collected from all of Minto's drinking water systems, and I'm happy to report that there's no results exceeding or required to be reported to the MECP. In addition, no organic, inorganic lead and other chemical parameters that were sampled for and tested for this year exceeded the limit, so no reporting on that. All routine maintenance throughout the year was planned and whatnot was completed and as required. And capital projects between all the systems were completed if required. That's it.
Thanks, Mike. I'll read the recommendation. Moved by Councillor Podnowitz, second by Deputy Mayor Anderson, that the Council of the Town of Minto hereby receives report PW 2025-007, 2024 Drinking Water System Annual and Summary Reports, prepared by the QMS representative for information purposes. And further, that the Council of the Town of Minto approves the 2024 Drinking Water System Annual and Summary Reports, including Clifford Drinking Water System, Harrison Drinking Water System, Palmerston Drinking Water System, and Minto Pines Subdivision Drinking Water System. And further, that the individual members of council, the CAO, and the Director of Legislative Services clerk sign the respective reports as stewards of the water infrastructure. Any questions for Mike? We're going to go to Councillor Dirksen first.
Thank you, Councillor Gunson. Just wanted to say to Mike that this isn't near as flashy as the last report that we had, but super duper important. And just really appreciate that you are keeping all of our residents safe by looking after our water systems. The reports, showed high level of what is that word? Shoot, it was there. Perfection. It's not the right word, but it'll do. And so, yeah, it's just great. So you and your team have a lot to be proud of as well.
Thank you.
So thank you very much.
Mayor Turn.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I was going to say something similar to that. I mean, you come to the council meeting once a year with this stuff, and other times, we talk about water, and we're so blessed. This council has, for years and years now, we haven't anything to worry about. I mean, you guys are, you and your predecessors are, we developed the program with Gord's help years ago, and it's amazing. I agree with Councillor Dirksen. We're fortunate to have such a great group of individuals looking after us. So, thanks. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
You can't know how much, certainly appreciate it. I mean, there's been other communities that have got into trouble because of, for one reason or another, and you guys just continue doing it the way it's supposed to be done. And so thank you.
Yep. Thank you.
Any other questions, comments? Thanks, Mike. I'm going to read or ask for the vote. All in favor? It's passed. Thanks, Mike. Thanks so much. Second report, Source Protection Annual Report. And we have Kyle Davis here to present that.
Thank you very much, Councillor Gunson. I'm here, sorry, put my glasses on for a second. Pleased to be here to present the Source Water Protection Annual Report. So it goes hand in hand with the report that Mike just presented. It is also a required report by February 1st of each year, and pleased to report to Council that those reports were submitted to the province as needed. The metrics in the report outline the various areas that Source Protection Unit works on behalf of the town to make sure that the water is protected prior to getting to the wells. So these include development reviews, inspections, negotiation of risk management plans, as well as education outreach and a number of other activities. Would like to leave it there, and if there's any questions, I'm happy to take them. But before I do that, I just want to thank my staff, one of whom Danielle is with us today, as well as the staff at the town for a great partnership in making sure that the municipal water's safe and protected.
Thanks, Kyle. I'll read the recommendation. Moved by Councillor Zimmerman, second by Deputy Mayor Anderson, that the Council of the Town of Minto hereby receives report PW 2025-008, 2024 Source Water Protection Annual Report prepared by the Risk Management Official for information purposes. Any questions for Kyle? Mayor Turton.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. Again, Kyle, you and your group, I listen to, I go to the county and I listen to the reports there as well. And again, thank you for all you do for all the municipalities, and just can't say enough of the good things. You keep us out of trouble, and where there's issues, you deal with them. Initiative is terrific, but so just thank you and your staff.
Thank you very much. It's very much a team effort.
Any other questions for Kyle? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? It's passed. Kyle's not off the hook yet.
I'm not sure if I was next or not.
Next report, appointments for risk management inspectors, alternative risk management officials.
Excellent. Thank you very much, Councillor Gunson. Yes, this report in front of you is for your consideration and action if you so choose. This is regarding the appointment of risk management inspectors for the town of Minto and alternate risk management officials. So Danielle Fisher is with me today. Kim Funk is the other member of our staff. We've recently gone through a reclassification review, which is a county funded portion of the budget, to reclassify their two positions from source protection coordinators to risk management inspectors. The rationale for this is as the program matures and is implemented, we will have more of a need to be out in the field doing inspections, and there will be some more compliance and enforcement work that goes on. There's also the administrative piece of it. Up to now, we've been functioning with myself as the sole backup to our sole inspector, and our sole inspector, Emily, functioning as the backup to myself. So it's also, there's an administrative piece there too, where we're able to spread that load a little more equally amongst the unit. So there is a recommendation for your consideration. I'd be happy to take any questions.
Thanks, Kyle. I'll read the recommendation. Moved by Councillor Elliott, second by Councillor Podnowitz. The Council of the Town of Minto hereby receives report PW 2025-009, appointments for risk management inspectors, alternate risk management official report, prepared by the risk management official for information purposes, and further that the Council of the Town of Minto considers passing a bylaw in open session to appoint risk management inspectors, alternate risk management officials. Any questions for Kyle? Mayor Turk.
Yep. Thank you, Mr. Chair. So, I mean, the legislation's changed. Now we're hiring more people. Has there been issues within the province, or why the change?
In terms of additional staff?
Yeah, inspections.
Yes. Through the chair. There has been some changes to provincial guidance. So we do see some changes that happened in 2021 that will require more inspections and work on winter maintenance sides of things. So this is road salt, so private parking lots in particular. So we have seen some of those changes work their way through the Maitland and the Saugeen Conservation Authorities and into those plans. So those are now in effect within the county. So we do need to start doing that work. Also, development reviews ever since COVID, the development review piece has continued to increase. So we last year did about around 495 reviews across the town, across the county. In the town, it stayed relatively steady. So this is these appointments are part and parcel as well, not just for the town, but also for across the county. So we're taking similar bylaws to the other 7 local municipalities.
Good, thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? It's passed. Thank you, Kyle.
Thank you very much. Thanks.
Number 4, wastewater annual performance reports. Mark is here to report today.
Thank you very much. Yes, we have the 2024 annual wastewater performance reports here. These are solely just the treatment facilities, not the collection or storm systems. They're they're under a different approval, so there'll be a different report coming later for them. Each one of these facilities, Harrison, Palmerston, and Clifford treatment facilities, they have an environmental compliance approval, and that's basically how those facilities are governed or ran, sets the rules for each facility. Moving on to the Clifford Lagoons, 2024, they met all the compliance limits throughout the entire year for the ECA. Effluent quality remained high. It always is. Clifford is a great system. There's no bypasses or exceedances. We had two major projects that we completed in Clifford. One of them was the Clifford sand filter, which council is aware of. It was a great project. We came in, saved a considerable amount of repairs money doing that work in-house and with the local contractor. And we were also able to complete a alum tank liner replacement in Clifford. So moving on to Harrison, no major compliance issues there as well. We did have one over discharge event while we were opening up in the fall. Yeah, it was an operator error, but to set the discharge flow in Harrison, it's a calculation based on the river flow and lab results that we calculate daily. The river flow was extremely low, and that as the operator took the sample and the system needs to flush to get a good sample, we actually over discharged in that short amount of time within an hour or two. So we had to wait for the river to come up before we were allowed to continue discharge. We rectified that by notifying the ministry of the event and through training, and that satisfied the ministry's expectations. In Harrison, cell 2, we had a valve failure in the discharge chamber that ended up being quite a bit of work for town staff to get that repaired. We had to empty the cell 2 lagoon by pumping it 24/7 and draining it into cell 1 and 3. That took about 2 weeks. So the valves are right on the bottom of the lagoon, so it's a pretty tough spot to get to. Yeah, town staff and Wellington Construction got that repaired in a timely fashion. And we're continuing to work with our industrial and commercial users on their strength and volume of sewage that they're discharging to the system. Over the past couple of years, we've had a lot of success working with those groups, and we're now seeing the results in the effluent quality at the Harrison Lagoon. Moving on to Palmerston, another strong operational season there. No bypasses and overflows within all the operational limits for the year. It's our first full year with the new clarifier in operation. It seems to be operating well with no major issues. We are out of the maintenance period for it, so it's ours now. And yeah, the staff are doing a good job operating it, and it's doing a good job treating the sewage. Biosolid management system in Palmerston is ongoing. We're continuing with our NASM plan, and it's a non-source agricultural material plan, very similar to a nutrient management plan for regular agriculture. Yeah, and that we have a number of farms throughout the surrounding Palmerston that we have certified, depending on what crop rotation is in, and we spread when available. So other than that, I think that's all I got. If there's any questions.
Thanks, Mark. I'll read the recommendation. Moved by Mayor Turton, second by Councillor Dirksen. That the Council of the Town of Minto receives PW Report 2025-010 regarding the 2024 annual performance reports for the Clifford, Harrison, and Palmerston wastewater treatment plants, as required by the Ministry of the Environment, Conservation, and Parks. And further, that the Council acknowledges the compliance statutes and operational updates outlined in the attached reports. Any questions from Mark? Mayor Turton?
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair. So the clarifier, the one that we took out of service, the one that in Palmerston, Has the maintenance, how's the maintenance went? Are we back up and running with it, or is it complete
On the.
on the old one?
The old one? No, that's in the 2025 capital
Okay.
budget to begin that project.
Second thing then, when we talk about discharge, our discharge is November, it starts, is it November 1st? When's our discharge season?
October.
Yes.
October 1st to April 31st.
So the spring thaw has very little or nothing to do with it? Because are we finished by then? Sorry about this dozy questions. I should know the answers.
Currently, we're not done discharging. We're waiting for the high flows of the spring to discharge. So we are currently discharging now.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Seeing none, I'll call for the vote. All in favor? It's passed. I'm going to pass the chair to Councillor Dirksen.
Thank you, Councillor Gudson. And we have one item on the finance agenda tonight, and this is kind of scary. We're going to talk about the 2026 budget year. And turn it over to Treasurer Duff to take us through the report.
Great. Thank you, Chair Dirksen. So although we're talking about the 26 budget year, we're talking about the 25 expenditure to get ready for 26. So as you know, we've been using, we're kind of using FMW software, which was recently taken over by Citywide. However, what council sees, very little of that comes from that software. That is mostly in-house. Mark, before that, really Jackie, and I bring in Tanya and Jane and Lori as well as myself to make it into a form. And we like the form, but it's extremely labor intensive. And there's no software that I've found anyway that really integrates with our Keystone. They all have issues. FMW currently draws information, and we frequently have issues with the integration there too. I think this proposed one, I think if you've been at many conferences, Questica, they're in the process of changing their name to UNA. I don't know if it'll be any better, but I'm pretty sure it won't be any worse at the integration anyway. It comes over in kind of an Excel format too. But from an interface point of view, I find our current software is very outdated in terms of its functionality and the outputs, whereas I think Questica looks more modern. It looks 21st century, so which I think will help on a lot of ways. One of them, the internal one, I would love a lot more participation by department heads, because I think we just saw Mark and Mike and that know a lot more about wastewater and water than I do. And so they're better at putting in the costs. And, you know, right now we get them from them and they enter it in. But I think if they had better information to work with, they could put in better information on the front end. Also, we just spent last year going through all our strat plans and that. Our goals, one of them is openness, transparency, and I think this software will give us more of the tools. Like, so I looked at, as you can see, there were 3 options, and the first 2 would serve me and the staff, but I don't think they serve you and the public quite as well either. So that's why I'm kind of recommending that one. There's quite a bit of information in this presentation. The fellow we're working with is Mike Sullivan, again, for many of you, and he's on standby if you get any questions that I can't answer. So again, I feel kind of silly, like, okay, and we're taking on another project, roughly a 6-month implementation. So what I'm like to do is start this, kick it off in April, and be ready for our October, November budget meetings. That would be my goal here. There's a lot of training that's included in the purchase price, which is good too. And yeah, so it's not a cheap package. There, again, like so many municipal things, there's not a lot of other software out there. So I view it more as an investment in better information, which leads to better decision making. And I spent the day on asset management workshops, and it all kind of ties together for sure. So anyway, that's what we're looking at, and happy to take any questions or anything.
So I have a question,
Sure.
which something that I thought I understood until you gave your report, and now I don't know. So what is the spend in the 25 year for this?
In 25, it would be the 8,500 plus the 29,000, I think it is on that one. The 29,500, yes.
Like
So
I
it's
had-
kind of like a one-time 8,500, and then it is 29,500 annually.
So that's where you get the upfront purchase cost of 38,000
Yeah.
is 29,500 plus 85 then.
Exactly.
Oh, okay. So you have to. Okay, so that's kind of wild. You purchase it, but then you have to do the annual subscription fee that first year as well, or not? It doesn't start until next year.
I think you need both of them for
Okay.
the first year too, yeah. So we
Oh,
would
good.
have, it wouldn't offset it, but it would slightly offset it. We pay about 8,000 or 9,000 for FMW now
Yeah.
on that. And Citywide has talked for minimum 5 years about another modern, and I think they call it PSD budgeting. But it's been talked. I haven't seen it in action, and kind of like, I want to move on and not be a guinea pig either. A lot of references, and you can see them, and I'm always less impressed by, City of Ottawa does this. Well, that's nice. You probably have a room like this full of staff to do it.
Sure,
I'm
yes.
more impressed by Huron-Kinloss does this.
Yes.
Tiny Township does this, and there's another municipality in Wellington County that's working on the implementation, because that's more realistic
Yeah.
to what
this
we
is the
can
one.
do. Yeah.
I think this is the report that had like Collingwood and, right?
Yeah,
Kinda
yeah.
listed.
I mean, Collingwood, okay, a little bigger,
Well, sure.
but they've
Big
also
difference
got
between that and Vaughan though, for instance, right?
Vaughan. Yeah, you're part of your
It's hard to be impressed
and
that Vaughan has it. We're looking at it, yeah.
yeah, it's incredible.
Are there any other questions? Councillor Ponowitz?
Yes, you, Chair Dirksen. Is this an American company or Canadian company?
Yes. So the story on this one, as far as I can understand, it started in Burlington, and it was only in Canada. And this may remind you a little bit of Keystone. Started as an Ontario company. They've been bought out by UNA. They assure us that the data would be resident in Canada. And I like what Belinda was saying. It's hard to totally buy local. So yeah, it's got some American. I'm not saying the ultimate profit might go south, but it is a Canadian originated building with Canadian support and Canadian offices.
Thank you, Gordon. Councillor Elliott, another question, yes.
Yeah, Gord, you're saying it's Canadian. The other software people, are they Canadian also, or
Yeah,
same
same
idea?
thing. So again, even when I started, there were a lot of competitive things.
Mhm.
So now we have an entity that is called Central Square. So it bought Keystone. It also has Vadim. It has Diamond. Great Plains, which has been around forever, that's Microsoft. Again, and they're not budgeting software, they're financial software. Microsoft, as they tend to do, they're eliminating support for Great Plains in 2028, 29. So it's like so many things. You look and you see all these different, types of soap or whatever, but there's 3 companies. And that's what I'm finding in the software thing. Again, the MFOA is starting up their financial forum again tomorrow, actually, to look at that. But this is what we're having. The small guys don't have a good enough product. And then if they do, the really big guy comes and buys them out.
So
That's technology, eh?
our contacts would be Canadian, we'd be
Yes.
dealing with. That's important too.
Yes, yeah.
Okay, thanks.
Any other questions? Okay, I'll call the question. No, I will read the recommendation first. Moved by Councillor Elliott and seconded by Deputy Mayor Anderson, that the Council of the Town of Minto hereby receives Report Finance 2025-006 budget software prepared by the Treasurer for information purposes, and further that Council of the Town of Minto pre-approves the purchase of UNA software Bundle 3 to be included in the 2026 budget
Yeah.
year.
And perhaps that should be for 2026. Because we'll have to
For-
outlay the money in 25.
Okay,
But
and that money is already in the budget then for
it,
25?
it's unspent, yeah, from earlier years.
So you wanted to say at the end, Bundle 3 to be included for the 2026?
Something like that, yeah, because we've kind of moved to doing the budget, which has been really great. We had the budget done
Sure.
Christmas of the year before.
So everybody understand what that, we don't have to do an amendment. Do we?
It's pretty friendly. It's just a change of one word.
Yeah,
It just, it means that he's gonna be using it for the 2026 budget.
Sure.
Exactly.
And learning how in 25, right?
6 months, yes.
Okay.
There we go.
Are there any other questions? Okay, call the question. All in favor? Thank you. That carries.
Thank you.
Thank you, Gordon. I'll turn the chair back to the mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Dirksen. We're at announcements. Councillor Elliott, do you want to begin?
I really don't have anything. The 81s hockey team won their semifinal against Seaforth. Now we're waiting to meet with Ripley. Right now, it's up in the air how that's going to start. There's always a debate when are the games are going to be played and how they're going to work it out. So they're in the middle of that. We're hoping that Minto will have a game on Saturday, but we haven't got a time and we haven't got that confirmed. So other than that, they're doing very well, and the arena was full. It was quite amazing to see. Our town does get it in behind it and support it, so it's great. Thanks.
Thank you. Councillor Dirksen, go ahead.
You're looking beyond me. This is the end of the line. I don't really have any announcements today, but I just, it kind of occurred to me, I guess we've kind of said it all along the meeting today, but there's a huge information dump of a meeting with all the reports and so on. And we just really have great staff and really looking after us well. And so just want to say that again, that it's great to see all of the work that they do kind of compiled into reports and sharing that information. So we really appreciate it.
Go ahead, Councillor Zimmerman.
Well, thank you, Mayor Turton. Not by accident, you all received a flyer here about this year's Clifford Summer Carnival taking place July 12th, 2025. So I'll get a little spiel here to, well, have a proposal for council. That's all. This year promises to be the best carnival yet. And thanks to the support of Minto's Public Works Supervisor, Mike McIsaac, we've been able to close the main street in Clifford for this carnival event. So it's going to be pretty spectacular, I think. And as you can see, we've got lots of things going on here. Part of the outdoor games is going to be a dunk tank.
That's nice.
And
Yeah.
as I sit on the committee, I'm making a formal request for all of council, if it's possible, to take a turn sitting on the wet seat. I think that would be pretty spectacular.
It's not the sitting, it's the problem.
Well, if you can heckle whoever's throwing the ball, you might be all right. So in that line, any money that's raised, half of that is gonna go to the MRI fund for the Palmerston Hospital. The rest will be taken back into the Clifford Connects budget and spent on community betterment. So you don't have to answer today, but I'll be hounding you, everyone. I think if we can get enough, it only runs from 10 until 2. So it's not like it's a great period of time. If we have enough people, it's only half an hour. Oh, come on, come on. And then the.
I'll be happy to line up whatever it is that's wrong. How's that? I'll volunteer for that.
Sure. Well, we'll
Whatever.
take any volunteers we get. Another big event in Clifford, April 5th and 6th is the Outdoors Life Show, from 10 until 4 each day. There's something of interest for anybody, fishing, hunting, camping, cottage life, you name it, it's gonna be there. In order to get in, a donation to the Clifford Rotary Club would be quite acceptable, as they're partnering with the people putting it on, and I think that would be great. Just support local if we can. And that's it.
Yeah, thank you, Councillor Zimmerman. Is it a dunk tank or is it just a little spray nozzle like?
No, it's going to be a dunk tank.
You make it so.
You're going to be wet.
So
And
July.
they specifically asked for you, Mr. Mayor, but,
Yeah, well, yeah, I'll be
Can
there.
I go
I'll-
first? Can I go first?
Why do you want to go first?
I don't want to go last in a dunk tank.
So if it's starting at
Okay.
10 a.m.,
10 a.m.,
Councillor
yes.
Zimmerman and
Must have had siblings.
Councillor Gunson is first, we should promote that because I'm sure
I'm gonna
there's
send my wife.
there'll be a big line.
Yes, perfect. I've got you marked down there, Councillor Johnson. Okay, I'll make sure somebody.
Deputy Mayor Anderson?
I don't really have an announcement per se, but in light of the beautiful spring weather we're having up there today, I just want to give a shout out to the emergency management team who sent regular updates, and Mr. Fertney, who kept us surprised. Unfortunately, we had no floods. I was surprised with the snow load we had up there. I thought maybe we would. There's some flooded fields, but so far the town's okay. But thank you again to all the town workers for keeping an eye on things, making sure we're okay. We appreciate it.
Thank you. There was no stress.
No stress? Easy peasy.
I don't know about that.
So I do understand that the water level did get up almost to emergency levels, but it was well managed. Our staff was absolutely prepared if it had to come up. Pretty amazing. There was no water at the end of George this year. I mean, there has been water there in the past, but levels of water in the river like there was over the weekend. So yeah, I agree with Deputy Mayor Anderson. Thank you to all who was involved in all the planning. It's nice to do the planning, have the equipment ready to go and not use it. Is that a fair assessment? Yeah. Couple other things. Promotion for the Drayton Farm Show, April 9th and 10th. They always put a lot of work into their farm show, and it's always a huge event. Our volunteer dinner is coming up next month. I haven't got the date on here. Quinn, can you help me with that, please?
29th.
What is it? Sorry? The volunteer appreciation. Okay, and so we are having it catered this year, and so we need, Quinn needs a phone call if you're going to sign up. So we know, and it's by April 1st, RSVP, so we can order enough meals. So everybody's invited. Get signed up and come to the Harrison Community Center. Starts at 6. Second thing is the grand opening tomorrow for Launch It in Harrison. Again, everyone is invited. It's going to be a big deal. We have cake. And that starts at, thank you, Belinda.
10 to 11 is like the ribbon cutting and the VIP time, and then 11 till 2 is like open house, come and go.
And well, so Ontario Good Roads Convention is from March 31st to April 2nd. And from April 3rd to April 6th is the curling in Palmerston, both in both arenas, the elementary provincial championships. They are expecting 64 teams from around the province. And it's going to be some exciting times. I mean, you got to, I think it's 13 years of age and under. And there's lots of seating capacity. It's a big thing for our youth. And so I appreciate if everybody would take an hour or two. I'm sure there's kids there that youth there that everyone knows. That we've got, I think there's 2 or 3 teams from, 2 for sure from Minto. So get on the website and let's support it. Okay, there was one other thing that there's something else happening in the first week of April in our town that we talked about yesterday morning. Our arenas have been very, very busy. I know that. Hockey tournaments, we have minor sports teams in the OMHA, Councillor Gunson?
No. So from what I understand, the U11 local league is still playing in playoffs. They haven't gave us times, but the U18 and the U15 lost this past weekend in the semifinals. Nobody going to the Red Hat tournament this year, unfortunately.
Okay, thank you. Anything else? All
Mr.
right.
Mayor,
Yes.
quickly, skating carnivals. Do you want to mention that? Sorry. I
Thank
don't
you,
think we
Councillor
did.
Elliott.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Hairston Skating Club Carnival is on Sunday in Palmerston at 2 o'clock, and always a big crowd, 500 or 600 people. So come cheer on our little figure skaters.
And who's the star?
So for those that aren't aware, the ice is going to stay in the Hairston Arena for April and part of May. So trying to advertise that so that some of our other towns and villages and cities will come and utilize our ice. So, and all you have to do if you want ice, get on the website and talk to our recreation staff. So. All right, so I've got a move by Councillor Zimmerman, second by Councillor Gunson, that the committee of the whole convenes into regular council. All in favor of the motion? Carried, thank you. Notices of motion. Hearing none, we'll move along to the next resolution, moved by Councillor Potnovich, seconded by Deputy Mayor Anderson, that the Council of Town of Minto ratifies the motions made in committee of the whole. All in favor of the motion? That's carried, thank you. Source water protection appointments, moved by Councillor Zimmerman, seconded by Councillor Gunson, that bylaw 2025-015 be read a first, second, and third time and passed in open council and sealed with the seal of the corporation. All in favor of that motion? It's carried, thank you. Confirmatory, moved by Deputy Mayor Anderson, seconded by Councillor Elliott, the bylaw 2025-016 to confirm the actions of the Council of Corporation of the Town of Minto respecting a meeting held March the 18th, 2025. Be read a first, second, and third time, passed in open council, sealed with the corporation. All in favor of the motion? Thank you. I'd just like to extend thank you to Deputy Mayor Anderson. Last meeting, I understand it was long and tenuous a little bit, but pardon?
Spirited.
Spirited. Thank you for sitting in the chair and running that meeting. Appreciate it a lot. I was sitting in the sun.
Not thinking
Pardon?
about it.
Thinking about us.
Adjournment, moved by Councillor Zimmerman, seconded by Councillor Dirksen. Council Town of Minto adjourns to meet again at the call of the mayor. All in favor of the motion? Thank you very much. It was a very good meeting.